لا إله إلا الله.
إن الحمد لله نحمده ونستعينه ونستغفره ونتوب إليه ونعوذ بالله من شرور أنفسنا ومن سيئات أعمالنا من يهده الله فلا مضل له ومن يضلل فلا هادي له وأشهد أن لا إله إلا الله وحده لا شريك له وأشهد أن محمدا عبده ورسوله أرسله الله بالهدى ودين الحق ليظهره على الدين كله ولو كره الكافرون فبلغ الرسالة وأدى الأمانة ونصح للأمة وجاهد في الله حق جهاده حتى أتاه اليقين فجزاه الله عنا خير ما جزى نبيا عن أمته ورسولا عن قومه. أما بعد عباد الله أوصيكم ونفسي بتقوى الله عز وجل فقد فاز المتقون وأذكركم ونفسي بقول الله تبارك وتعالى الذين قال لهم الناس إن الناس قد جمعوا لكم فاخشوهم فزادهم إيمانا وقالوا حسبنا الله ونعم الوكيل. All praise is due to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. With His divine support, with His tawfiq, we met again today to learn. And our promise was to continue with the journey of life, which is Hajj. And our promise was that we will talk about what happened after the return of the Prophet ﷺ to Medina. In another word, to talk about the completion of his mission and his death. But for the sake of the current affairs, for what we need to update ourselves with, we are going back to talk about the life of the Prophet Muhammad alayhi salatu wasalam. Perhaps we will see the teacher among us who will be telling us what to do in the times of difficulties. This is the time when we can make use out of our faith. This is the time when we can make use out of our submission, the complete submission to the will of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. This is the time when we can make use of how to turn something bitter into sweetness. This is a time when we can say, no matter what happened to us or to anybody in this world, we say, Alhamdulillah Rabbil Alameen, because it could be worse. Perhaps the Quran will let green trees pop up on our heart. Malik ibn Dinar, rahmatullahi alayhi, who used to say, Ya Ahl al-Quran, ماذا زرع القرآن في قلوبكم فإن القرآن ربيع القلوب كما أن الغيث ربيع الأرض. O people of the Quran, O Muslims, who says always, Al-Quran Kitabi, the Quran is my book. What did the Quran plant on your heart? What did you benefit from the Quran? Because the Quran is the strength and the beauty of the heart. Just like the rain is the cause for the earth to become beautiful and green, the Quran is supposed to do the same to the heart of the Muslims. Mujahid, rahmatullahi alayhi, also was asked, قوله تعالى سيماهم في وجوههم min athari sujud. What is the meaning of this ayah? You can see the sign of the sujood, the sign of the prayer on their forehead. أهو أثر يوجد بين عيني الرجل? Is it the black sign there on the forehead of the person? قال لا. He said no. قد يكون بين عيني الرجل مثل ركبة العنز وهو أقسى قلبا من الحجارة ولكنه نور الخشوع في وجوههم. You could see a black dot of sujood on the forehead of somebody, but this person's heart is harder than a rock. Not that sign the Quran is talking about, but it is the nur that you see on their face, in their behavior, because of their khushu and fear to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, they become source of mercy to humanity. So we want to talk about the life of the Prophet Muhammad alayhi salatu wasalam, whose teaching will never die in our heart. Maybe by then we can remember what he taught us. The Prophet alayhi salatu wasalam, who told Abdullah bin Abbas one day, always be mindful of Allah and He will be mindful of you. Be with Allah and Allah will be with you. If you want something, ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And if you need help, ask Him. No one out there can give you or help you, but Allah can. So focus on Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and make use out of your faith. It is a difficult time to the young Muslims, to the elderly Muslims, to the Muslim women. But as we know, once we step out into this life, we cannot step back. We go through whatever we have to go through. And remember always to make use out of our faith. This is a time when we can learn what it means to be a Muslim. As we can see, the domestic violence in our life is a major one. I'm not talking about the violence of two people, husband and wife. I'm talking about the global one. When two people of different faith cannot live together. And I'm hesitant to say this word, because we can always live together. If you are truly religious people, but when we are not religious people, then this earth will be too narrow for us to live on. But when we are, we will be able to live in it and share and have a dialogue and express our opinions freely the way the Holy Quran told us, with good manners and respect to whoever believes could be different. So the problem, as we know that, nothing to do with the religion, nothing to do with Islam, because it is very clear to every sane human being on this earth that no one, not a Muslim, not a non-Muslim, can fight Islam. Because if I try to fight Islam, it means I'm fighting every country in this world. And if I have no room in my heart for Islam, this is my life. But to say I have no room for Muslims in any country, in Australia for example, I'm trying to say I have no room for the Australians in Australia. Because Islam is a gift from God to all human families, with their differences. And in every country, some people from that family decided to be Muslims. And they are born in this country. And trying to tell them in the name of Islam again prove how uneducated we are. If some people do something wrong, as you can see, last week we were talking about the criminals who send a criminal bullet to the body of Hadi because of her niqab. And the world did nothing about it. There was no protest against Zionism or against Judaism, nothing. But when a lost young man who shot innocent human being again, and here we are again, we lost another crime fighter. People who stay awake day and night, police, to make sure that the citizens are safe. People who come to our center and our mosque from time to time asking, Imam, is everything all right? Any troublemakers around here? We say no. Thank you for caring for us. The police who are saying awake for us to sleep safe in our houses. And young people again have been used. What a 15-year-old can do. But we have teachers around. Who are there? We don't know. It could be the environment. It could be a person. We don't know. But wrong is wrong. How can we contribute this to Islam? It is something inhuman. And how can Islam accept something inhuman? While Islam came to help the human beings, it is crime again. And what we learn from these type of things, in this age, when we look at the elderly people who have been living with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, living with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala for so long, some of them are 50 years, 70, 80, they still live with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala every day. And we learn from them how to be a peaceful human being. I spent 90 years on earth and I never hurt anybody, not in my word or my action. This is Islam and this is humanity. And anyone try to convince any human being to do something like that, they fail unless they find someone who is confused, not knowing where to go. It can happen to anybody due to the lack of the true knowledge of Islam. And similar young people in the society are many. As an imam, witnessing and hearing, young people who are saying that, I'm not sure if I'm a Muslim. Mothers calling and saying that, my son has doubt about Islam. And some people already commit suicide, young Muslims. The question is, have you ever been a Muslim in the reality? Because it is, in Arabic we say, mustahil. It is impossible for a true Muslim who knows Islam and practices Islam to commit suicide, to kill somebody innocent. We all know how to fight in war. And every citizen, wherever they know we are in war, and our duty is to defend ourselves. But due to injustice from Muslims and non-Muslims, many people have no chance to understand the Quran. And if you notice in the social media now, how so low and very, very ignorant and criminal, trying to go to the Quran and collect so many ayahs with their crime intention to say, this is the Quran. See what it says. They go to the law of fighting in Islam. The law that says you are not allowed to fight. If you have to, only those who are fighting you. And those who are fighting you, not because they are not believers, no, because they are fighting you. Who recited these verses to the world? Muhammad alayhi salatu wasalam, who left the city of Medina as a multi-faith city. Everybody can live in it under the protection of Islam, and you are safe, and you don't have to be a Muslim. But for many people who have the hatred in their heart, they don't know how to express themselves. They go sometimes and blame the Quran. They say sometimes, let's knock down that mosque. They say sometimes, attack the Muslims, and so on. And attack the Muslims means attack the Australian people, attack the American people, attack the Chinese people, the Russian, attack the world, attack the human family. Who will do that? I cannot, and I know you cannot. And we believe, for how long we have to tell the world, this is not Islam, but they say no, it is Islam. We have more than 3,000 people who are coming in this place and going out. And you will never find any one of them to do something like this. Why? Because Islam says no. And what has been said is true. If you don't like Singapore, if you don't like Indonesia or Malaysia, you have to leave, because if you get caught with drugs, they will hang you. This is the law of Singapore. Not a Muslim country, but that is the law. And they did it to 2 Australian young people in the past. And they hanged them. There was no protest. The same thing. This is Australia. And Australia had Muslims, Christians, Hindus, Buddhists, Jews, Asians, and others. And you are a good citizen as long you disagree with them, but leave them alone. It is our right to disagree, even in Islam. We can disagree with the Mufti if we can prove him wrong. We can disagree with the Imam if we can prove him wrong. But we are not allowed to go to violence in whatsoever, and this is the main principle of Islam. وَإِمَّا تَخَافَنَّ مِنْ قَوْمٍ خِيَانَةً فَانبِذْ إِلَيْهِمْ عَلَى سَوَاءٍ إِنَّ اللَّهَ لَا يُحِبُّ الْخَائِنِينَ. We have a treaty to live together in peace, and we have signed, every citizen in every country. And as a believer, the Prophet Muhammad ﷺ, which is treated to the rest of the world, and some people betrayed him, Allah told him, don't do the same. If you want to fight somebody, let them know that the treaty is over. If I want to hurt my fellow Australians, I have to tell the Department of Security and Immigration and the Parliament House, I withdraw my treaty to Australia, and from now on, I will fight you. But nobody will ever say this. This is Islam. You are not allowed to betray people. When you promise to be a good citizen and then you betray. Now that you are no longer in treaty, so prepare. Otherwise, all you are doing is extremism. And the way the Muslims have been fought in the past, they used to be called extremists. In the ignorant society in Makkah, and what was extremism? If you say God is one, you are extremist. If you pray 5 times a day, you are extremist. If you use your hijab, you are one. That was very simple. And until today, some people still like that. They don't want to see somebody who is praying. They don't want to see somebody who is using hijab. They don't want to see someone who is calling in the name of God. It is ideology. But now, when they say extremist, straight away, it is a criminal. But the true Muslims were not criminals in the past. They have been called extremists because the society was so loose, and they want the freedom which they desire. Until Islam came and disciplined them. And Abdullah bin Mas'ud, who used to say, أنتم في زمان يقود الحق فيه الهوى وسيأتي زمان يقود الهوى الحق فنعوذ بالله من ذلك الزمان. You are living in a time the truth is leading the desire. In anything happen, we make sure that the truth will lead us, not our desire. And a time will come, the desire will lead the truth. And then he made a dua, may God save us from that type of time, when desire leads people. We're living in a time, we know so many things. The only thing we don't know the Quran, we don't know the Hadith. And it's very hard to know because we don't focus. We can know something very well only when we focus. And if we don't, we will never know it. Because it is serious. And it's special only for those people who live with truth. And they're serious when they claim that I'm a believer. I'm a gift from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to mankind. The Prophet alayhi salatu wasalam was a gift to mankind. All mankind. He lived for them and he died for them. And whatever they have done to him, when he won and became strong with Islamic State, he told them, I remember what you have done to me. But go, you are free. This is Muhammad alayhi salatu wasalam. And he produces and he gave this world a gift, a man like Abu Bakr, who gave to the world a man like Uthman bin Affan, Abdurrahman bin Auf, Az-Zubayr ibn al-Awwam, Sa'd ibn Abi Waqqas, and all of these four men are chosen again. But who brought them into Islam? Abu Bakr, because he was a true Muslim. And true Muslims, like this time, met many other people coming into Islam because it is a beauty. Will invite people. But in a moment like that, all young people, the question is, am I really a Muslim? Because sometimes we live for a few years, 15 years old, 18, 19, 20. And because we are far away from Islam, we start to have a doubt. Am I a Muslim really? Why is this in Islam? Why that? And they are very close sometimes to alcohol and drugs and immoral relations, far away from Islam, and then their soul will become dark and confused. And they feel guilty and frightened in their spirit. And someone who will use their religious clothes will get them and say, I can give you a shortcut to paradise. You can do jihad. You can do this. And use them. And due to their fear, they say, yes, I want to become a shaheed. And they start attacking themselves and the rest of their family members as human beings. But we know that it is inhuman. And how can something inhuman be Islamic? Why Islam came for the human being? This will raise many questions in the young people's life. In this age, this is a time now to give up so many things and go back to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Otherwise, we know what's controlling the young people today, not the parents. We can always blame the parents. We can always blame the center. But we have to blame where they're spending time every day. The schools, morality died. And when we don't have morals, religion becomes very, very narrow in our life. Only the name. And we have no respect to parents anymore and what they say. And parents are working day and night to provide, to make sure that there is food on the table for these kids. And there is a roof on top of their head. But what they do in return? What they do in return? They darken their soul away from Islam and go into something dark. And then they start to become depressed and put their blame in Islam and decide to say, I have doubt in Islam, in this and that. The question is, have you ever been a Muslim? You have never been. Maybe by name, but in the reality, when you say a Muslim teenager, straight away you can tell how you see them, where you see them, and what they talk about and what they do day and night, because they are Muslims. But am I a Muslim? This is a real question. While we're talking about more than 700 people died in Mecca. And that was a gift from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. We don't like death, and nobody does. But if we have to die like this, without hurting anybody, on a pure place, and getting involved in an act of worship, and die like that, we say, welcome to death. What about the other people who are dying in the darkful places while they're doing something dark? On the peak of their life when they are young, this is a time when we can use our fresh and powerful mind to learn more about the Quran, about the Hadith, but that's not the case. We are going very far. And one day we get confused and say, Ma'am, I have doubt about Islam. Dad, I have this an issue. Since when you have been a Muslim? This is a real question. بارك الله لي ولكم في القرآن الحكيم وجعلنا وإياكم من الذين يستمعون القول فيتبعون أحسنه أقول قولي هذا وأستغفر الله لي ولكم فاستغفروه إنه هو الغفور الرحيم. الحمد لله ثم الحمد لله الحمد لله الذي هدانا لهذا وما كنا لنهتدي لولا أن هدانا الله من يهده الله فلا مضل له ومن يضلل فلا هادي له أشهد أن لا إله إلا الله وحده لا شريك له وأشهد أن محمدا عبده ورسوله. عباد الله قال تعالى إن الله وملائكته يصلون على النبي يا أيها الذين آمنوا صلوا عليه وسلموا تسليما. اللهم صل وسلم وبارك على محمد وعلى آل محمد كما صليت وباركت على إبراهيم وعلى آل إبراهيم إنك حميد مجيد. Dear Muslims, as we say, the time of difficulty is the time when we have to demonstrate our humanness and demonstrate our faith and prove to the world that we don't react. We act according to the divine teaching, which is peaceful for us and for the mankind. And we have been told always to remain the teachers. And we should never misbehave because someone else is misbehaving. Our reference will never be the way other people are reacting based on their hatred, saying that we are anti-Islam. It is normal for anybody to have demonstration and protest. We did it last time. We went to the Israeli embassy and we were anti-Zionism, who was killing the innocent Palestinians. We went there and the police protected us to do it in a peaceful way. So they can do whatever they want. In case anyone gets confronted, remember that you are a Muslim. And Allah made that for the rest of people. The Prophet ﷺ, he gave everything to humanity and he took nothing back. Because Allah told him, "O Muhammad, the only reason we created you is as a mercy for human society." Not only humans, everything that exists. That's why he taught us how to be good to each other, in the family, in the neighborhood, how to be good to the pets that we're looking after, how to be good to anyone who exists, and use them to prove that we're good human beings. So if anything happens, remember one thing. That is, we are Muslims, we don't react, but we act according to the divine teaching and human behavior. If they decide to knock down a mosque, we pray without a mosque. Because every part of this earth is a place to be a Muslim. The question is that, do you really want to pray? And we sometimes react when something wrong is done to a Muslim. Even people who don't pray and never attend the mosque, they become emotional and start reacting and attacking other people. Do you care about a mosque? And with a sincere question, how many times you prayed in the mosque for the whole year? And we answer, do you really love a mosque? But remember, this is a time to prove that we are the gift of Muhammad alayhi salatu wasalam to the rest of mankind, and anybody can try. You cannot hurt Islam, you cannot hurt Muhammad alayhi salatu wasalam, you cannot hurt the Quran because of its nature. And trying to fight Islam is failure, and fighting the Muslims mean you are fighting your family members. The Muslims are everywhere, and they are born there, and they will go nowhere. All the best we can do, let us put our fingers on the criminals and leave the innocent people alone, and don't put all of them in one basket. We don't want anybody to die. But we see gangs are killing. Mental people are killing because they have evil in them. Islam will never be responsible, and if anyone is serious to understand the verses of the Quran when talking about fighting, it's just like taking the Australian law of war in the battlefield and applying that on the citizen on the street. Every soldier is told how to attack the enemy, how to kill, what to do, and so on. The same thing, Islam telling the people how to defend yourself. But when you are filthy and low, just like a fly, we drop only on the awful things, and we never see the beauty of the Quran, who's calling mankind to be calm and never react, because we are told to be teachers, and don't let human behavior take us away from our beliefs and principles. It will be a task, especially for the woman with the hijab. Just say, Hasbunallahu wa ni'mal wakeel, wa la hawla wa la quwwata illa billahi al-aliyyil azim. And remember, the whole country, the Parliament House, the police are there to protect every citizen in this country. So you are not alone. But only few people have hatred towards humanity, and that will go back and get there. Who said that? Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. وَلَا يَحِيقُ الْمَكْرُ السَّيِّئِ إِلَّا بِأَهْلِهِ. Any evil conspiracy will go back to who made it out, Muslim or non-Muslim. اللهم اغفر للمسلمين والمسلمات والمؤمنين والمؤمنات الأحياء منهم والأموات برحمتك يا أرحم الراحمين. اللهم أحسن ختامنا وأخرجنا من الدنيا مسلمين. اللهم انتصر للمستضعفين في كل مكان، وعليك بالطغاة الظالمين فإنهم لا يعجزونك يا حي يا قيوم. اللهم من أراد بالإسلام والمسلمين سوءا فاجعل تدبيره تدميرا، واجعل كيده في نحره، واجعله عبرة لكل من يعتبر، وخذه أخذ عزيز مقتدر، فإنه لا يعجزك يا حي يا قيوم. اللهم اشف مرضانا، اللهم اشف مرضانا، اشف أنت الشافي، لا شفاء إلا شفاء، شفاء لا يغادر سقما، وارحم موتانا إنك أنت الغفور الرحيم. وأقم الصلاة.
الله أكبر الله أكبر.